4.3 Pet Cycle. You must have come across this guy at least once. Mr. Kairos Time Gaming, who is Brawl Stars' most obedient pet. His mission is to keep glazing Supercell and just keep getting sponsors. Like, tell me there is a Kairos video that doesn't have him going, well, this video is sponsored by NordVPN or flippin', I don't know. The thing is, most Brawl Stars content creators, they post about the game. Maybe they jumped a new update and stuff. You know, they play the game. But Kairos has a pretty important yet dangerous role. He, posts tier lists, and due to the lack of Brawl Stars content creators who post tier lists, for example, Ash, who is pretty much not trusted by the majority of the community, he seizes that power to declare that these brawlers are good and these brawlers are bad. But not only that, he also serves as a spokesman for the community, a very bad spokesman. And he delivers the new update. Like, he talks about the new update. And occasionally, when there's drama, he appears as the hero to tank the shot for Brawl Stars while giving them as many excuses as possible. Just as you've seen in the first frame of the video of "We Were Wrong," and says Brawl Stars apologizes. And there's also this interesting section of him talking about door in the face technique, but when the moment he finishes talking about it, he goes like, but I'm not saying Brawl Stars does that. Which proves that he, in front of his eyes, saw his revenue decreasing because he trash-talked Brawl Stars. So, he immediately decided to put a lie so that Daddy Frank does not nerf his payment. And the thing is, I know it's normal for a content creator to care about money, but at least, the other Brawl Stars content creators are a bit more human. Sure, Snake Thug dumps loads of money, OJ does, Bentim, and speaking of Bentim, he has a pretty similar case, but not as bad as Kairos Time. In fact, his reviews of updates were so bad that he was called Gaslight Time, and they're not wrong. That's the sad part, because every time he talks about the new update, he talks about it in such a robotically praising, brainless way, and when the update turns out to be bad, he looks in the shadows, not to be seen. He doesn't apologize. He doesn't flinch. No. He just stays there, knowing he served his master, Daddy Frank, well. He delivered the update in a fakely positive way. Now, I know updates, there are good ones, but he even delivers bad updates in a good manner, just to brainwash us into thinking that the update will be good. Otherwise, the rest of his content is just free-to-play day 467 or something like that. And these videos are an attempt of him hiding his pet status, because if he keeps talking about every new update and decision, then his true self would become visible. That's why he tries to blend with the crowd to by making normal videos. And that also explains why he rarely uploads. We see Snake Thug posting like daily, we have Bentim, he doesn't post daily because every video of him is just dumping loads of money. Kinda same thing for OJ, but Kairos? No. He posts less videos to attract less attention, but also to avoid mistakes, because the less videos he posts, the less the chances of the community realizing how much of a slave he is to Brawl Stars. In fact, one time, Kairos abused his power to say that Frank was F tier. Not the CEO, of course. I'm talking about the brawler Frank. That was around 2024. And this really hurt Ken's feelings. And Ken went to talk bravely about this tyrant of a YouTuber, talking about how he abuses children because of his extreme power and because of how naive kids are, and whoever stands in his way gets absolutely demolished. Because, again, kids aren't really smart, and most of the Brawl Stars community are kids who want everything. They want everything sugar-coated, and whenever someone makes even constructive criticism about the game, they are labeled as complainers. And Kairos abuses that completely. And to maintain his mask, he uses the most colorful language, the calmest tone, the happiest, most calm face, just to make sure our suspicions don't rise. Because if he talked in the average professional way or something like that, the kids wouldn't be lured into his trap or Daddy Frank's trap. And yeah. And even when Ken challenged him, Kairos cowered. He did not answer. He stayed silent. Sure, he must have posted a comment pretending to be, like all chill and stuff, but deep down, he knew his career was at stake. That's why he decided to post a comment, so that he seems unfazed by the thing. And that would also prove to the kids that this YouTuber you're watching is just a playful young man, and not a puppet controlled by strings. With that question, all this stuff being said, how do we counter Kairos? Is there a legitimate way of stopping his reign of terror and tyranny over the hypnotized kids? It pains me to say this, but there isn't. He already has well over 1 million slaves watching his videos, consuming them brainlessly, and because of the other content creators who mostly keep jamming the latest update and barely talk about problems, Kairos can maintain his fake character. And as I said, because only the small channels talk about the problems, and small channels don't really get much attention. You can mention Fofo Tom, Ned is Nugget, Mr. Dark. These aren't really popular, and Kairos abuses that. Again, he just loves abusing. That's why he occasionally releases the small fake complaints of videos where he spends flipping 80% of the time talking about a general problem and 19% talking about how Brawl Stars is not the one who does it and they're innocent, and 1% of the video talking about the brand new sponsor of the video so he can keep generating as much revenue as possible. Now, if only it were OJ, we would have excused him for the excess hunger for money, because OJ is the ultimate money dumper, but Kairos? No, he is the gaslighter. And the fake complaining videos, as I've already said, are just meant to make the community think that Kairos is not an artificial being made for the only purpose of serving Supercell or Brawl Stars and covering their mistakes. And why didn't he go to other games? He could serve Clash of Clans, Moko, and stuff. I mean, he already did talk about Moko. He even lied by saying, this channel is 100% Moko now, making his Brawl Stars players cry. But at the end, he didn't. He didn't. Why? Because he was paid to talk well about Moko, which is now not really thriving, but at least it's generating revenue without having to rely on advantages locked behind paywalls. Everything is purely cosmetical. But as you can see, Kairos has the potential to gaslight any of us, and to gaslight any community by making them think that their game is good. But again, why didn't he go to Clash Royale or Clash of Clans or stuff? Because there he finds adults, he finds teens, he finds people with brains, and he cannot install the little parasite of slavery for the game into those brains, because Clash Royale players are fully aware of their games' problems. Clash of Clans players are too, but Brawl Stars players, they complain about anything because the others do. They're just parrots with no critical thought. That's why Kairos stays looming in the Brawl Stars community, waiting for the next 300,000 people he controls by saying that the next update will be promising. I hope this video made you realize the tyranny of certain content creators in this industry, and hopefully we can have a rebellion to counter this guy, although it will be very difficult, but with the help of other popular content creators, we can stop the evil regime of this guy and start a new nation of harmony and peace where everything is said without 1,000 filters. Goodbye.